Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game between WFZ versus Chaemiko. This game taking place here on Northern Isle. WFZ spawning as, well, the blue Undead player over here on the top right hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Chaemiko spawning as the red human over here on the bottom left. This is human versus an Undead in a 1v1 matchup here on Northern Isle, a map that feels like I haven't cast a game on recently, even though map is very familiar. There are plenty to be had. Are we going to be going into low upkeep play? Well, we'll see what happens as we unpack this game and watch it together. Over here, WFZ or WFZ, depending on what you call the last letter of the alphabet. Spawning off over here on the top right-hand side of the map, we do see a Tomb of Relics, Altar of Darkness, Crypt, and the question to be is, well, what is going to be that first hero? In years past, it was always the Death Knight. Now it is just usually the Death Knight, as it is going to be a Death Knight first, no Crypt Lord or any other sort of, expansion play, as those other heroes are able to expansion pretty quickly. Meanwhile, back down here, Archmage gonna go ahead and be trained up by the human player Chaemiko. Chaemiko perhaps gonna be going for footmen into rifle casters. That does seem to be a tried and true strategy as of late. And then from there, we'll see how the players what they want to do with their units next. Coming back around, ghouls are getting trained up. Death Knight about to make its way out. Graveyard is getting added in. Tomb of Relics being built all the way to the back. Death Knight most likely will be picking up a Rod of Necromancy, but we need to keep an eye on whether or not he picks up Sacrificial Skulls. Sacrificial Skulls are a true sign that he's going to try and do some sort of expansion play, and well, with no Sacrificial Skull and him just running out with a lone Rod of Necromancy, it looks as though he's just going to be doing a little bit of creeping until he trains up a couple of Crypt Fiends out onto the battlefield. Alright, that Murloc Flesh Eater will get taken down. Meanwhile, down to the south here, Archmage of Chaemiko picking up Claws of Attack +5 and letting the Militia finish off the remainder of this ice troll down here. Claws of Attack +5, pretty much a response to low auto attack heroes all of a sudden getting a major damage boost. The Archmage, its damage is 21 to 27, so getting a +5 damage is much more effective than, say, the Death Knight, who has 25 to 35 getting +5 damage. So it was mainly like the Archmage, the Farseer, the Keeper of the Grove, those heroes being able to get +6 damage prior. That was almost a full 25% damage increase early on for those intelligence-based heroes. Meanwhile, the other heroes, say the Demon Hunter getting Claws of Attack +6, yes, it's still useful, but it didn't really translate nearly as well. Anyways, Death Knight still wandering around here. Perhaps he's going to try and clear out the remainder of this creep camp with just skeletal minions. Should be able to do that, as the Archmage of Chaemiko looking to clear out of this expansion location and perhaps set up his expansion here. All right, Chaemiko, are we going to see the Ogre Water Elemental finally getting taken down? Ogre Magi sitting at level 5. Is the Archmage going to get that last bit of experience, or is the Death Knight going to be able to come in and steal it? No Death Coil steal so far, as the Death Knight does get to level 2. There's the Death Coil steal. He gets that bit of gold, as the Death Knight does, well, get a little bit of that experience. Archmage is going to try and deny that, or is going to steal that. Skeletal Minion does get that Skeletal Minion for a little bit of experience as it backs up. The +5 claws sort of nerfed the BM, though. That's true. It did nerf the Blade Master just a little bit, but then again, it also opened up additional play for all of the other Orc heroes, also being able to see an occasional Shadow Hunter first on Terranist Stand, followed by an Alchemist. All of those, well, really wonderful strategies. Archmage purposely staying close by to try and, well, hold on to this expansion location here, or try to fend it off here. Another peasant gets taken down. Death Knight already losing a handful, as we are looking at one footman off to the side here, unable to do very much. Why is it? It's actually just so well protected but at the same time, it should really be trying to engage here. Before, I think what this one footman was trying to do is to make sure that no units actually slipped in between these trees. But now, well, that with not that being the case, the footman is just completely useless in combat, watching as all of his other brethren were right there. All right, footman chasing after a little bit of unit. I think mirror images already disrupt healing, disrupt potions and healing salves, or scrolls of regeneration and healing salves. I believe Wand of Illusions do that. So I think mirror images are based on that same factor. Anyways, coming back home, we are looking at, well, level 3 on that Archmage, a tech to tier 2 already available for the Undead. We can see that the Lich is already being trained up, tech to tier 3 now underway as well, as that Frost Nova, what will pretty much shut down any attempt for these footmen to be useful. Footmen trying to run on inside here will find themselves being slowed, being a lot less on hit points, and allowing an additional volley or two more from those Crypt Fiends. Archmage trying to put pressure in right now, being forced to retreat back. Well, that is just an illusion, though, as the Archmage just wandering around, trying to get a little bit of insight.
Our forces are under attack.
Archmage now looking to retreat back here again. Well, yeah. So far, though, Undead pretty much just stuck inside his base. We're looking at the looking at the Death Knight and the Lich, looking to clear out a 5-4-4 creep camp. And what is this? Chaemiko actually feels confident enough to try and put pressure onto WFZ inside his main base here. Archmage not going to go ahead and round the corner again, and Death Knight going to be putting in some pressure. Ogre Magi taking a large amount of damage. There it goes. As well, the Death Knight picks up a scroll of the beast. Archmage going to drop in some water elementals. Archmage with, well, 2 claws of attack, +5. That is +10 damage, obviously, as the Death Coil Frost Nova finishes off a footman right there. Water elemental wanted to try and deny it. It did not get get that finish off there, as we're looking at, well, just an illusion causing problems inside the main base. All right. Coming back around, we do see gargoyles up in the air going after those footmen. Footmen have no way to really fight back here. Double water elemental is trying to put in pressure as obsidian statues, and the Lich is out here as well. Archmage trying to come in for a little bit of disruption. Water elementals could be going after some of those ghouls as well as the Archmage. That damage is actually respectable at 43 on the high end, as the footmen do have defend and now going after those acolytes. Ghouls, however, going to start tearing apart this inside here, and any acolyte being lost right now, well, that is a major loss overall in economy, as you cannot train up any acolytes as you're trying to tech to tier 2. Lich also doesn't have enough mana for a Frost Nova as of yet. We're looking at a lot of damage, and the Obsidian statue actually caught in a really strange spot right there, now going after those other units. However, the Obsidian statue is able to heal up the acolytes as the acolytes are trying to repair. Are we going to see this one Obsidian statue get taken down to 19 hit points? Water Elemental wants to go after that one, not able to do it, as we're going to see a Staff of Teleportation. Archmage is going to go after that Obsidian statue at 23 hit points and still able to stay away. Chaemiko really overcommitting to that location, and wow, able to save both of his Obsidian statues with repairs or just smart maneuvering. Brilliantly done right there. Chaemiko does have a scroll of regeneration going on right now, 38 supply compared to 39. Pretty even between these two armies. However, there are more workers for Chaemiko. Obviously, 22 supply in workers. That is, what is that? 11 workers at each base. There should not be any lumber issues whatsoever. All right, Death Knight picking up some healing wards right there. Lich, we see a Pit Lord third. All right, interesting to see a Pit Lord as that third hero when going up against human. Well, and we'll see how it translates and whether or not we end up going into, well, Spellbreakers or Riflemen. Spellbreakers normally just eat Pit Lords alive. They are immune to that Howl of Terror debuff while being able to deal extra bonus damage to that Pit Lord because of that mana feedback. All right, we're going to see a little bit of damage. We're going to see a Stormbolt. Yes, Stormbolt finishing off a Gargoyle right there as the units are now making their way inside. Chaemiko just diving on in with Footman again. Mountain King going to go after all of these units once more. Double Water Elementals should be able to finish off Destroyer. Are we going to see some Devour Magic? We should be seeing some Devour Magic right there as the Footman trying to go after the Acolytes again. Meanwhile, back inside the expansion here, there's enough towers to keep it well protected as the army is now trying to back up again. Death Knight shows up to the party. It's going to be able to get a lot more experience finishing off some of those water elementals. There they go. And now one destroyer, a couple of coal towers, should be enough to finish off all of these footmen as they try and retreat back out. Meanwhile, Crypt Fiend, Lich, and Pitlord trying to lay siege to this expansion, losing a couple of farms, but that is it as of now. Mountain King Archmage trying to retreat back here. Level 3 Archmage, level 2 Water Elementals, level 1 Brilliant Aura. Mountain King running past all of those units. Gets a Stormbolt off onto the Lich. Are we going to see a Frost Nova, Death Coil, Potion of Healing, or a Scroll of Healing used right there, as that Mountain King could have been in trouble? All right, another Water Elemental taken down as that Pit Lord does have Rain of Fire. He was trying to get the Rain of Fire down right in here, but the double Arcane Towers really pretty much preventing any sort of destruction at this expansion. Chaemiko is starting to bank up a large amount of gold, and he really will need to get a decent sized army going in just a little bit of time. His army only at 27 supply compared to WFZ's potential 44. That is quite a big difference, especially once you factor in hero levels, as that Pit Lord should get to level 2 here, or be very close. No, very close to level 2, but the Death Knight gets to level 4. All right, Scroll of the Beast, Paladin, Mountain King, stealing a little bit of Bloodlust right here. Archmage, seeing that level 3 has a Staff of Sanctuary, as we're looking at pressure being brought back in again. All right, there is that Rain of Fire. Arcane Tower just outside of range right now, as that... actually walked in a little bit too close, unable to do anything there. We're going to see some flying machines perhaps try and poke apart that destroyer, but the Crypt Fiends there are, well, the perfect counter to that, being able to web them in. All right, Lich still continuing to put in that pressure. There is a bit of, well, damage adding up onto all of these peasants who are just trying to repair this Town Hall. Town Hall down to 600 hit points and dropping steadily as the Crypt Fiends, alongside that Pit Lord's Rain of Fire, just stopping much of what's going on here. All right, Pit Lord just needs a little bit more mana to get in one more Rain of Fire, which could have possibly been enough to start dealing critical damage, down to 260 hit points and still dropping as the Pit Lord wants to line things up. What is going on here? There is some water elementals. Destroyers could try to get in some Devour Magic. Pit Lord is right there. Does it have Cleave? It does. You should be going after all of those units, getting in some of that damage, as the Pit Lord, well, is now already at level 2 with that Cleave here. Crypt Fiends trying to back away. Flying Machines going after some more units. Destroyers able to Devour Magic here, as the, well, peasants are now making their way over. All right, Frost Armor onto the Lich. Level 3 onto that Lich as well. Level 2 Frost Nova could be a very big deal, as an Obsidian Statue about to get taken down to 8 hit points. One more shot should be able to finish it off, as the Knights are still trying to chase after all of those units. All right, Archmage gets the last hit on that Obsidian Statue. Stormbolt onto a Crypt Fiend. Flying Machines, nothing to attack right now, as the units are now making their way back down. Obsidian Statues trying to go back the other way. A Knight getting taken out, as we can see a couple of webs going down to finish off Flying Machine after Flying Machine. Pit Lord getting a good amount of experience right now. Lich is already at level 3, as we are seeing those Flying Machines just fall all over the place. 51 supply compared to 52. Chaemiko going into low upkeep now, trying to rebuild his army. Level 2 on the Mountain King. Clarity Potion not being used. Paladin having a Potion of Healing. But what is going on here? It is going to be the higher level heroes, 4, 3, 2. Maybe that Pit Lord can even get to level 3. And we should be looking at some repairs, yes, underway onto that Town Hall. But I do think that we could be getting in more Rain of Fire as well, trying to add in more damage onto that Town Hall in just a second. Back off over here to the top right. Slaughterhouse is training up more units as well. WFZ finally going into low upkeep as well, trying to build up a larger army. He has the larger army, but at the same time, Chaemiko has finally gotten into a decent-sized army himself. All right, are we going to see a Rain of Fire? No Rain of Fire. Arcane Towers getting in some easy damage there. I would have thought a Rain of Fire right here along this edge would have been enough to add in a little bit of damage, as we are getting in some repairs underway. All right, there's that rain of fire now. These poor peasants, well, do know what's hurting them so much. More repairs still getting in here, as we are looking at one more rain of fire. Could take down multiple peasants. There you are. Multiple peasants getting taken out. No Stormbolt onto that Pit Lord. Pit Lord down to 75 mana. He has enough for another rain of fire. Is he going to try and finish it off? No, he's not right there. Holy Light trying to save the Archmage. Archmage could be in trouble. Death Knight, Disease Cloud is completed. Death Knight could try and finish it off. There it goes. And all of a sudden, WFZ is in dominant control of this game. This Town Hall is the only real advantage going on for Chaemiko, as the Lich also uses a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability in time. Finishing off this Town Hall should be priority number 1 right now. But as the units are all trying to retreat back again, what is going on? Archmage is quickly resurrected at the tavern. Holy Light brings it back online, as we're going to be looking at, well, Crypt Fiend after Crypt Fiend taking a large amount of damage. Death Coil for the save right there, as the Knights decide to break chase. 50 supply compared to 56, as we're looking at the Pit Lord perhaps going to make its way back down to the south here. And only 100 hit points. This Town Hall and all of the mining that's going on here represents a big advantage. Only 1 or 2 more shots needed, and it looks as though, yep, this peasant, all of these Town Halls will end up getting destroyed. Pit Lord can now back away. Chaemiko sitting at 56 supply in low upkeep. His expansion, all of that gold invested, now lost. It needs to be rebuilt, as we are looking at a major level major level advantage for the Undead. 4-3-3 going up against 4-2-2, with the Death Knight already halfway to level 5 as well. Healing wards being placed down by WFZ. WFZ should be able to, well, recover very easily from this fight and then continue to move on. Meanwhile, Chaemiko does have level 4 on that Archmage. That does give him, well, a much stronger Paladin and Mountain King, as they are so mana dependent for all of their abilities. Mountain King, however, still not yet at level 3, and once the Mountain King gets at level 3, well, then we should evaluate the overall strength of the heroes. However, the Pit Lord, sitting at level 3 with level 2 cleave almost, should be able to dive on in and join in on those fights pretty easily. Archmage, Knight, are we going to see a Frost Nova onto that Knight? No, we are not. Staff of Sanctuary would have just taken him out anyways. Death Knight Illusion scouting out things. It is 1 base on either side. 62 supply compared to 57. WFZ still overall smaller in terms of supply, but still has a slightly larger army going into this next fight here. Pit Lord units trying to make their way, quickly spotting out that there is still no expansion. Archmage does have, what, triple claws of attack and an orb of fire, so that Archmage nearly dealing critical strike damage every time, going from 30 as the base damage up to 56. Orb of Fire also going to be preventing a lot of that healing there, as we're looking at the Pit Lord is finally at 4. All right, looking into an engagement. Oh, there's Wand of Illusion. Crypt Fiends there, trying to get them out into the front. Stormbolt onto one of those right there, and, well, I think the Mountain King quickly realized, hey, wait a second, that is just an illusion. That Crypt Fiend took a bit too much damage from a level 2 Stormbolt. All right, beautifully done right there. Realizing and just keeping track of Stormbolt damage, knowing, wait a second, I've seen that happen before, and only if that's an illusion, deciding not to give chase, as units are now getting ready to move on in. All right, here we are. Crypt Fiend in that front line. Abominations. Flying machines coming in from the side. Flying machine could go after that destroyer very quickly. Obsidian statues. There's that rain of fire as the destroyer trying to retreat all the way back. I don't see any web, and one destroyer could easily get taken down there. There it goes. Level 3 now on the Paladin. Level 3 on the Paladin. Level 3 on the Mountain King. And all of a sudden, things are very different, as the Lich was in a little bit of trouble. Death Knight could, well, fall apart very quickly here. Are we going to see a healing ward? Yes, we are. Placed down. And how long is that going to be able to stay alive? Archmage quickly shuts it down as well. We are in a little bit of trouble. Obsidian statue taking on, and now WFZ taking a lot of damage in that spot, down to 43 supply, as the level 3 Paladin and level 3 Mountain King make their presence known very quickly. All right, a quick reveal here sees that there is no expansion. However, there was a ninja expansion being built off to the north again. Coming back off to the north here, Pit Lord gonna go after these Ogre Warriors again. There they are. There is that Lich, and there are some other units as well. Well, we're looking at the Paladin, Mountain King clearing out. Majority of the creep camps have now been cleared out, but Chaemiko does once again have that economic advantage that he lost only moments ago. Only 4,000 gold left in that gold mine, 8,000 gold left here. And if Chaemiko can try and starve out the undead, he should be in an okay spot. But we do see Banshees already getting added in. Anti-magic shell coupled with possession, as there are knights out onto the field, could spell a lot of problems. Staff of Sanctuary sending units back home. Spellbreakers, well, Spellbreakers will be able to get healed back up as well. Knights joining in, 67 supply compared to 54. Chaemiko with a much larger supply advantage. Knights all in position, do have Sundering Blades as well to try and hunt down those Crypt Fiends. The question is going to be whether or not the Orb of Fire will counteract the healing from the Death Knight and those Obsidian statues, as we're looking at the armies trying to engage, and there's a possible flank right there. All right, Knight being forced to retreat back. Archmage sitting at level 4. It's going to be that level 5 Death Knight, and that's going to be a major advantage here as the Stormbolt goes straight down onto the Lich. Lich going to take a lot of damage. There's a Death Coil, getting it back up to full hit points, as the Paladin could be in trouble. Paladin quickly uses a Potion of Healing. Are we going to see another Stormbolt? There's another Stormbolt followed by a Death Coil, or a Stormbolt onto the Pit Lord instead. Pit Lord onto the Stormbolt onto the Pit Lord. There's another follow-up Death Coil to try and heal up. It doesn't look like the Archmage's Orb of Fire, no, Archmage's Orb of Fire has been effective. It's just that the Death Knight is at level 3 on that Death Coil and healing much earlier than you would normally see. Healing it earlier at this point, as the Paladin now trying to retreat back as well. Water Elemental, there goes another Stormbolt, but, well, not going to really worry much about that either. Mountain King leading or trailing in the pack here, as the Abomination going after this Lumber Mill Guard Tower fighting here. It looks as though this Abomination could get taken down pretty quickly. All right, a little bit of a here at the expansion. One guard tower, the only sign of home field advantage. Scroll of Town Portal now trying to do a little bit of retreating as well, as we're going to see, wow, Abomination saved at 103 hit points. All right, Lumber Mill off here. More peasants getting added, or more mining going on across here. WFZ has to be very careful. Main gold mines only have about 90 seconds of mining left. I say 90 because there's only 4 acolytes on that gold mine. As we're looking at the Archmage, Spellbreakers, Paladin ready to move on out. Still don't see that many priests right now, and it's really been Staff of Sanctuary that's been trying to heal up all of these units. Knights and Spellbreakers, that is a very, very damage-potent army, but without the priests there to try and reinforce and prolong the fight, I don't know if the Paladin has enough healing in him to really pull out ahead. There's also a couple of one scroll of healing on that Mountain King as well, as the units are just, well, trying to set up an expansion over here on the bottom right again. 7,000 gold there. New gold mine being established by WFZ over there on the bottom right-hand side of the map. Guard towers still should be able to easily set up an expansion back here in the center portion of the map when the time comes. Are we going to see a Stormbolt onto that Abomination? Yeah, Stormbolt onto the Abomination. It is a real Abomination. Should end up getting taken down pretty easily, as it's, well, the Abomination falls there. Meanwhile, 2-2 upgrades on those Knights. Level 1 weapon upgrades for the Riflemen. Meanwhile, Crypt Fiends are sitting at 2-1 upgrades here, as the Obsidian statues, well, anti-magic shell and possession on those Banshees could really flip things in just a second. All right, there are a lot of Knights out here. We are looking at flying machines ready. A Temple of the Damned could get taken out once more, as, well, we don't want to see that many more Banshees out, or at least Chaemiko doesn't want it, as that is quickly taken out again. All right, Water Elemental wandering all through, completely taken out. We are looking, well, Haunted Gold Mine needs to be unsummoned. Well, no more gold left in that main gold mine whatsoever, as Chaemiko has a fully strengthened Knight inside his main base but doesn't realize it. We'll see how long that unit stays out of combat. Those units need to come back over and engage. You want every all hands on deck, so to speak, when you're fighting up against your opponent, especially if, well, possession could flip the number of or knights you have in just a second. I don't know. My mind's still focused on this knight. When is he going to join in on the fight? All right, coming back around. Death Knight, Spellbreaker, Mountain King, all hanging back here. No expansion underway. Are we even getting in long distance mining? No, we're not. No long distance mining whatsoever. As the units are now going to try and retreat back there. The Knight has rejoined in on the fight. Here, 80 supply over 84. Flying machines ready to go. 64 supply army compared to 55. As we're going to look at, well, these guard towers getting taken down so quickly. Quite surprised by that, as we're now going to look into Rain of Fire taking down some of these farms here as well. This location actually going to be pretty important. If all of a sudden a bunch of farms are lost, you're going to end up being supply blocked. And I think that's what the plan is. WFZ wants to supply block his opponent and then start taking out his opponent's units. And he knows that his opponent is going to have an advantage in terms of economy right now, still being able to train up units because he has the gold. But it doesn't matter if he is upside down on supply by 14 supply right now. Blacksmith, Arcane Vault going to end up getting lost here. There is no other Arcane Vault here, so no more Spellbreakers will be trained up either. As well, we are looking at an expansion over here on the bottom right by WFZ. Building after building going to get lost here. I thought Chaemiko was going to try to re-establish up a building there. However, that is just not the case. A lot of peasants just lined up trying to get into that gold mine, but that is not working either. 65 supply compared to 80. But, well, Chaemiko is currently supply blocked by quite a bit. Needs to train up. Nope. Build up a couple more farms. I take it back. Going into high upkeep now. And it looks like they are ready for what will end up being the final fight. Taking down a couple more peasants. There goes another. Back up to 84 supply. Trying to train up some more units. Staff of Sanctuary saving a mortar team all the way in the back as we're going to be going into an engagement here. Banshees trying to line up. And there is a possession onto that onto that knight right there. And, well, that's what we were expecting. Knights all of a sudden switching allegiance because of those Banshees, and now we're at 67 supply compared to 80. All right, one mortar team trying to fire their way back out. If the mortar teams can actually go after the Banshees, that would work out extremely well. As a knight, well, forgetting what side he's really on, fighting alongside the Undead. Death or Frost Nova straight up onto that one team there, as we're going to see Rain of Fire rage off to the north, and now more and more and more possession. Four knights have been turned. Four knights have been turned already, as those knights are going after all of those units. 69 supply compared to 64. What's yours is mine. And all of a sudden, those knights just doing so much damage. Are there any more Banshees left? I don't think so. But how much more damage did those Banshees really need to do? All right, going after those Crypt Fiends now. Obsidian Statues back out here onto the field, trying to do a little bit of healing. There's one Banshee available, as we're looking at, well, damage still adding back up. This Banshee is going to try and possess another knight right there. Nope, Staff of Sanctuary saves that unit, saving that knight, but there is another possession again, switching allegiances once more as the Archmage trying to retreat back. 51 supply compared to 54. Paladin could get taken down. Paladin is in trouble. Scroll of Town Portal saves it at the last moment. Thank you for the follow, as the units are now racing back off to the north, and this expansion will end up getting lost. 54 supply compared to 51. Knights in the front line taking a lot of damage from that guard tower, but that is going to be the game. WFZ, well, possessing his opponent to death, being able to switch, I believe, like 6 or 7 knights, possessing 7 knights from his opponent. And that was pretty much it right at the end. A great use of possession and anti-magic shell. Well, really reducing the amount of damage that the Stormbolt and that Holy Light was able to do towards any of the units. Once possession was out onto the field, enough possessions down, well, the Crypt Fiends were relatively safe. And even though it looked like WFZ was down by 16 supply, maybe even 20 supply at some points, well, the possession swap was enough. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.